Yo guys, JJ here, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through a JID tutorial, or JID for short. And A, I love his music, B, he's cold, 3, let's get into this. First of all, I started off by making the bass line. I just thought, because he always had nice smooth bass lines with his nice little boom-bap-esque beats, so I thought to myself, let me get a nice little bass line going first. So I opened up Expand 2, got myself the fingerless bass from the bass bank, and it sounds hot. I came up with this melody, as you guys can see, and I say, well, bass line, and as you can see I staggered some notes as well because it just adds a bit more of a human feel, and as well as that, you know, just a few gaps between the notes, starting and stopping, came up with this nice pattern, and it just sounds really good altogether. But with all that being said, this is what my bass line sounds like. See what I'm saying? Sounds cold. It has a little bit of a switch up in the second leg. It's just crisp, but you want to hit to the ear. And whenever you make a bassline melody, real quick before we move on, always have it on your half step. Always have it, because it just allows you to make it sound nice and smooth, like how I did that. As for effects, I added a beefy preset from Decapitator, and then this really weird EQ, but it sounds incredible. Next up, we got ourselves another preset from Expand 2. It's called the Shamesian Harp. Hope I didn't butcher that, and it's from the Ethnic Bank. And as you guys can see, right, came up with a nice little melody, repeated itself, and then just switched it up at the end. But one thing I did do as well, if you see here real carefully, I added these little extra like step notes just as the note plays, and it adds a nice little like human strum effect. As well as that, you know, Alt R and then randomize your velocities because it's a must. And you guys are gonna hear now what it sounds like. Pretty cold, but here we go. Hey, don't tell me that doesn't sound fire, because we all know JID would hop on this already, and it's literally only been 2 parts of the whole beat. But we move. As for effects, I stereoized it by 56% to make it wider in the mix. Just sounds nicer in my opinion. Then firstly, I added this EQ. A lot of the lows cut off a few of the highs and the frequency I wasn't a fan of. Then we got to have the halftime growth speed, because that's how you get that nice little slow effect, stretching the notes out but keeping it the same 8 bar. A fruity compressor was added with these presets if you guys want to see, just to get the sound all squished and good. An RC20, but clearly something's up here, but I did have an RC20 and it probably had a vinyl effect. And then I added a very, very large mixed reverb, but super low decay, so it just makes it sound super ambient. And lastly, within the melody, because these melodies are quite simple, I added a default high tines. It's from Analog Lab 5. Again, easily my favorite plugin to use, but I really recommend you do get this. Then I came up with this chord progression, as you guys can see. Copy and pasted the root notes up here. Built simple like triad chords, as you guys can see, just simple ones, and then added an extra note where I felt, you know, where it did the job. And yeah, also, you know, Alt S, you want to strum those bad boys always, and Alt R, of course, to randomize the velocity. And with that being said, this is what the melody sounds like. See how nice and smooth that sounds as well? Like low-key glide over this. And the way I just left a little gap here in between every like odd chord pretty much has that little spacing. And again, I just think it adds a bit more of a human feel, makes it sound in the ears. And yeah, that's the melody. As for effect, I added stereo separation of 33%, just a bit wider in the mix, but it makes it sound super nice. Then added an EQ. As you can see, a few of the highs were taken off, some frequencies I didn't like, some frequencies that I added I definitely like. And then again, RC20 with some vinyl effects, but yeah, as we can see, I'm having issues. And then a Valhalla And then I added this Valhalla Vintage Verb, 30% mix, 1.45 seconds in decay, and it sounds lovely. Now, before I play the melody, I always separate my stuff out. You'll never really hear it all in one go. Obviously, you will from time to time, but for the majority of it, you won't. So, here's a little glimpse of what the whole melody sounds like together. And don't tell me now, don't even try and tell me that is not cold. The way the bass line complements the keys, the way that nice little guitar comes in, it's just, it does the job, and JID would kill this track, but I don't have them connections yet. Now, without further ado, let's get into the drums. And you know, of course, for these kind of beats, you want to keep it boom bap drum. As for these kind of beats, you want to keep it within the boom bap drum kit kind of range, so you don't want to really go outside of that. Maybe the hi-hat, go a bit trappy. I'd highly recommend just sticking to boom bap drums. First of all, we got ourselves a snare pattern, and you know, it's a standard pattern, does the job, very lovely, and this is what it sounds like. We don't want to hear the 8-bar because it's the same old snare pattern that you've heard before. Next up, I made my own little hi-hat pattern, as you guys can see. Kept it very spaced out. Again, it leaves a lot of room for the artist to just breathe, do their thing. So, built this bad boy, and then I Alt-R this, you know, randomize the velocities as per usual. And this is what the hi-hat pattern sounds like. Boom, bam, bosh. Pow. And next up within the drums, we got ourselves a nice little crash, as you guys can see. So I don't think there's much else to say about this, but here we go. And now, last but not least, we got ourselves a lovely boom bap kick. You know how I like to do it, Control A and use that scroller wheel to max the velocities, because you want your kicks to be hitting through the speakers. You want your ears to be bleeding with joy from the kicks. So this is what the kick sounds like. And as you guys can see, obviously the reason I let the full 8-bar play is because that little bit of variation in the end, it makes the difference in the final product. And ladies and gentlemen, now I have taken you through the whole of the drums. It's time for you guys to hear what it all sounds like together for the final product. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you have made it to the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and all that other jazz. You'll hear the beat at the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and have a great week. Peace.